and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome one and all to the morning after the 250th anniversary of the greatest country that's ever existed, the United States. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. And, you know, I was watching this bit of an interview of Mamdani, and, you know, the left in these communist, Democrat, socialist phony balloon, they really expose themselves as they just don't get what the country is all about. They just don't get it. You know, it used to be like when our ancestors came to America, they wanted to come to America to be Americans because America is the greatest. Mamdani, in this latest crew, they want to come to America to assimilate us into their third world backwards cultures. I mean, that's, you know, isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It was very offensive what Mamdani said. Yes, yes, yes. I will tell you this. If you don't have to be on the road this morning on July 5th, do not. When I was driving here, there were some really sketchy people on the road. I mean, I guess people coming home from where they spent the 4th of July, and there's some people on the road that are either intoxicated or semi-intoxicated. It's not a good time to be on the road. In fact, when I was pulling off of my street in my development, one of my neighbors pulled on the street, and I'm like, they should not be driving, I could tell. But they were already home. They just had to pull into their driveway. I hope they could manage that. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, you know, it's something, you know. We got to witness some history last night. Could you imagine, think about this, what would our 250th 4th of July have been like if there was a Democrat in the White House? I'll tell you what it would have been. If it was Otto Penn Biden or Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, they would have gone out there angry, apologizing for the United States. That's basically what it would have been. It would have been an apology for the United States and the 1619 Project and slavery and all this, you know, and the Indians and all this business. But it was not any of that because we have Donald Trump. See, this is why I remember when President Trump, when his first term was over, and those of you that were listening to me then, I told you guys he's going to be back in 4 years. He's going to be back. You know, and people thought I was crazy, you know. But I said when he comes back, President Trump, for his second and non-consecutive term, I was predicting it like day one. He's going to come back with the support and a mandate from the people like we've never experienced before. Maybe like FDR when he came in 1933 at first, you know. But I think it's even bigger than that. And that's what we saw with this. And contrary to the liberals trying to spoil the 4th of July, they were not successful. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. But if anyone, him having the 2 non-consecutive terms, you know, maybe it was just for this moment last night for him to be the president on our 250th anniversary, because what President Trump has done by cleaning up Washington, D.C., having this incredible 250th 4th of July celebration has brought back a new wave, new sense of patriotism in the country that's been forgotten because the Democrats shame Americans. You should be ashamed of being an American. The Democrats want you to think. The liberals want you to think that we owe a debt, you know, that to the Indians, to African Americans and all this stuff. Nothing could be further from the truth. You know, we don't know what the United States and the American people do not owe a debt to anyone other than, of course, our great founders, you know. But they even look at the founders in negatives, right? Everything the left see about the United States is through a negative lens. The founding fathers were slave owners. Well, not all of them, you know, and they freed the slaves eventually. Oh, reparations are owed. And you know, Jasmine Crockett said that She said, we built this country. The only thing she built was, she doesn't even do her own nails. What is she building, Jasmine Crockett? Other than division, right? You know, I don't want to take away the achievement. I mean, you know, all the groups in this country work together to create it in their own way. But if we would have had a Democrat president right now, it would have been an apology tour on the 250th anniversary yesterday. By the way, I'm going to ask you guys, tell me in a word, who do you think is behind Patriot Front? We know Patriot Front is fake. I would have thought the Southern Poverty Law Center, but they're kind of out of action. AI data centers, well, how are you going to get on the internet, man? Without data centers, how are you going to use the internet? You probably spend 3/4 of your life or more on the internet. Well, what are the feds now? Kash Patel's the FBI, Todd Blanche is the Attorney General, and Donald Trump's the president, right? So how could Patriot Front be the feds if the feds are now MAGA? Southern Poverty Law Center has been shut down. MAGA, we're the feds now. Who do you think Patriot Front are? I thought it was the feds, too. Boy, oh boy, that is hot. That is hot. It's a fake group. I mean, we know that. Just a matter of who's behind them. We just don't know, but they're definitely fake. I saw them yesterday. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. The media love them, though, don't they? That was great. The president just made the speech on the 4th of July. He said they told me we could do it later this week. And he said, no, it's got to be on the 4th of July, not July something else. You know, I love all these internet addicts that are against the data centers. The data centers are what run the internet, what power the internet. So, you know, they're going to be a part of life, like a power plant. It's the internet is a utility, and data centers are the infrastructure of the utility company of the internet. It's like those power stations in your neighborhood, right? You drive by them and you hear the bzzz. It's a similar thing. What the heck? Did you hear that? Was a person yelling. Oh my goodness. They're running down the street. No, they're riding on a bicycle. Oh my goodness. You guys are my witnesses. Did you guys hear that scream from that person that just went by? I told you guys, you don't want to be out this early on the 5th of July. Yeah. I'm going to have eyes in the back of my head. I kind of have some eyes in the back of my head because, the 5 a.m. bars, the 5 a.m. bars are closing. And there's one down the street from here, sadly. Yeah. Australia, welcome, welcome. People still partying. Yeah, still partying. Yeah. Yeah, I went to a great 4th of July party yesterday, and I did partake, I must say. You know, it was one of our regular cruisers. He has an annual. He went last year, and then this year to his house. He lives not too far from me, and he had a 4th of July party, and some of our MAGA cruisers were there. We had a great time, and one of our cruisers brought a few bottles of sake, so I was drinking. I had sake. I had some beer, and it was really good sake too. Oh my goodness! I had sake, Corona, and then I had a rum runner. So I was partaking, but but that was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, not 5:18 a.m. the next day. They had a great musician who's absolutely, if you're a Patreon supporter, I put a video on Patreon of the singer from the 4th of July party I went to yesterday, and This guy he's a professional performer. I mean, he was so good. He was the clip I played. He's playing modern English. It was really good. Happy 250 plus a day. Yeah, this is my 250th anniversary T-shirt. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. Why are Americans losers, Nicholas? What country are you in? The United States is the oldest democracy, the oldest republic in the world. You know, and I was talking about this yesterday because it's so important. When the founding fathers that the left disparage constantly, when the founding fathers declared independence on July 4th, 1776, the entire country was run by kings and queens and emperors and tribal chiefs, right? Except the 13 original colonies. You know, and the founding fathers, it's true, the founding fathers of the United States at Independence Hall in Philadelphia are the original anti-colonialist. He's right. Well, Napoleon crowned himself emperor. And the French Revolution came after ours. We inspired the French Revolution. It was us first. The Louisiana Purchase. That's right, the Louisiana Purchase. I watched a great documentary this weekend on George Washington and the French and Indian War, which is also known as the 7 Years' War, and how George Washington used the tactics he learned fighting the Indians in the French and Indian War against the British in the Revolution. It was a very good document. This new movie about young Washington, I've heard very good things about it. When it comes on pay-per-view, I'll watch it. But I got to tell you, it really is amazing that, you know, President Trump said, it's in the title of this video, that the United States is the greatest achievement of humanity. And it's true, because even though we're the freest country in the world, every country in the world that has any form of democracy, either they don't have the freedoms we have, their constitution is based to some degree on ours. What democracy was there? What democracy, what country was run by the people of it other than this one when they declared independence in 1776? None. That's true. We beat them twice. But the British are still screwing us over all the time. You know, this special relationship BS. You know, the British, I mean, got us into 2 world wars, especially the Second World War, because we weren't in the First World War as long, but they got us in the Second World War because they couldn't control Hitler. They and how many died because of that. Then the British the British intelligence got us into the war in Iraq. If you remember, the weapons of mass destruction fabrication came from British intelligence. You know, so you know the fake Russian dossier about President Trump came from British intelligence. So you can't, you know, the Brits, they've never gotten over losing the American Revolution, you know, and they've been screwing us over ever since, and they still do it today. That's right. Look at the dossier with British intelligence, weapons of mass destruction, British intelligence, and as somebody just said, this prime minister they got now wouldn't help us against Iran after everything we've done they wouldn't even be a country if it wasn't for us. I think England's gone downhill since 1776, man. That was the beginning of the end. Mm-hmm. That's right. You can't trust England. England's always out to screw us over. They always talk about this special relationship. In their mind, we're still the colonies. They don't get it. Their deep state and our deep state are the same people. You know, so many like I give you some examples. What other than being Democrats? This is not the answer. Okay. What do Bill Clinton, other than being Democrats? It's not being Democrats or liberals. What do Bill Clinton, right, Mayor Pete, and Jessica Tarloff have in common? Other than they're Democrats and liberals. It's not that. Mayor Pete, Bill Clinton, and Jessica Tarloff from the Five, what do they have in common? Think about it now. Does anybody know? What do Bill Clinton, Mayor Pete, and Jessica Tarloff from the Five have in common? It's not that they're liberals, not that they're Democrats. Nope, that's just Mayor Pete and maybe Jessica Tarloff. Bill Clinton's not that, nope. All three of them went to college in England. You know, Bill Clinton's a famous Rhodes Scholar, although he didn't complete that program because a woman made an accusation against him. He had to get out of England, but Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. Mayor Pete was a Rhodes Scholar. And Jessica Tarloff from the Five went to college at the London School of Economics. Who the hell does that? You know, do you know who goes there? CIA. Deep staters. All three of them deep staters. And there's a lot of people that go to college over there in the left, and they're the deep state. So the British deep state and our deep state are the same deep state, and England's been screwing us over since 1776. They haven't been able to get over it. That's the way of it. I got to tell you though, Mom Donnie was so offensive. Did you see the Spencer Pratt video on Mom Donnie sitting at President Washington's? You know, General Washington, the founder of our country, for Mom Donnie to sit down at George Washington's desk, backwards, by the way. The desk backwards. Is that how they sit at desks in Uganda, backwards? And lecture us about what it is to be an American? That takes a lot of balls, or just stupidity. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, it was crazy. You see, he was sitting at the desk backwards. Oh, I don't know about Vivek. I'm not a big fan of Vivek Ramaswamy. That Soros Fellowship and all that. I've never trusted Vivek Ramaswamy. From the first time I saw him, I don't trust that guy. And you know what? President Trump doesn't either. That's why they kicked him out of the White House. He got kicked out like right away. He was the first one to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd rather him be the governor of Ohio than some Democrat, but I don't trust Ramaswamy, no. Mm-mm. Nope. But, yeah, so 250 years, that's amazing. Amazing, amazing. Well, anyone who spells it S-A-H-I-T-E is not an American. So, you know, I'm sorry, Sean, that you're not an American. What country are you, what country are you from, Sean? It's not the United States. Your spelling gave that away. No. No. Do I trust Candace Owens? I trust Candace Owens to be Candace Owens, which is a psychotic weirdo. Mm-hmm. A psychotic lunatic. Yep, she's a kook. Maybe she always was. Maybe that's why Charlie Kirk broke up with her. Because she's nuts. Who knows? You never know. Mm-hmm. That's right, we are proud Trumpers. President Trump has zero dementia. Yeah, this is cool. This is, and then the back, it's got, I think, is it the Lincoln Memorial on the back? Okay. Maybe you guys can see the back. Yep. Mm-hmm. That coffee is so hot I can hardly drink it. It's boiling hot. Yeah. Well, President Trump said that he gave Iran a week off for the Ayatollah's funeral. They should have blown up the funeral. I saw some of the video. All the top dogs are there. They should have blown up the Ayatollah's funeral and ended the war. Get it over with, right? But I bet you, I bet you that the CIA and Mossad were heavily represented at that Ayatollah funeral. They were probably one of the reasons, and it may be the main reason, that that President Trump allowed them to have the funeral of the Ayatollah was so that we could get a count on what leadership and what important people are still alive, because the big shots went there, right? So they were probably doing a check on who was who and who's in charge. It's the same tactic that happened with the mafia. One of the big mafia bosses had a big Italian-American event. I think it was the Columbus Circle, wasn't it? And all the big bosses came, and the FBI was there, and that's how they figured out who was running the mafia. And that's a little bit probably what happened at the Ayatollah's funeral. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Believe me, President Trump, Pete Hegseth, and General Kane are very, very smart. What lobby is that? You're going to tell me the Israeli lobby? Oh my goodness. Your anti-Semitism's boring, Chris. Oh yes, President Trump is most definitely a genius. No question about it. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys, okay? This is, without question, where MAGA comes to talk. Mm-hmm. And like the video. Now, that was some fireworks display last night, too, wasn't it? Holy smokes. Yeah, the flyovers were cool. Those flyovers, that's what they get in Iran, except those flyovers, they drop bombs. You know, it's really amazing. You watch some of the, I was watching the flyovers and the flying at Mount Rushmore, you know, the day before, and these UFO sightings, they're obviously our planes. You know, since the air war began in Iran, right, President Trump is allowing us to see military technology that we didn't know that we had. And we have these fighters that can fly supersonic speed, that are stealth fighters, but they can also make like 90-degree turns. It's crazy. They're making right-angle turns all the time at high speed. I didn't even know such things were possible. And these UFO sightings, it's obviously our aircraft. The government just never wanted to confirm that we had these capabilities. You know, we learned this with Venezuela. Remember President Trump said, we took Venezuela in a day. He said that at Mount Rushmore. You know, our military technology is 35 to 40 years more advanced than any other nation on Earth. You know, you know, like Russia, China, all these countries that think they're powers. They're not powers. They're not superpowers. They're using weapons from like the 80s, early 90s compared to what we're using. Our weapons are from the future. I mean, look at that weapon they used on the Maduro raid in Venezuela where they had that heat weapon that like vaporized the Cuban security forces around Maduro. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. Who even knew such technology existed? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's American ingenuity. And can you imagine? Think about how great and successful this country is. Imagine how much greater and how much more successful we would be if we didn't have Democrats screwing things up all the time, right? You know, Democrats have slowed down the progress of the United States to so many degrees. You know, it's a real sad thing that mostly it's Obama, but they don't teach American history or social studies anymore. You know, when I was growing up, because it was during the Cold War, there was such a strong emphasis on social studies, which is when you learn about the American system of government and American history. And the way American history is taught now in the public schools and in college is from a negative. It's about what we did to these different groups of people, which is all BS. It is sad, yeah. But you look at how advanced our military is. Could you imagine how advanced we would be if we didn't have Democrats screwing things up? It'd be amazing. Liberals are just a poison in our society. They're just poison people. They're pissed off. You know, I'm watching some of these liberals that are interviewed about the 4th of July on X, and they're psychotic. Totally psychotic. They're obsessed with the Indians. The Indians were, you know, they didn't even have, I bet you, now, those of you that are conservatives or my age or older know this, but the Indians were not, they were, when the settlers came here, they were prehistoric people. What do you think, and the Indians owe a debt to the world, which I'll tell you in a minute. What do you think, I'm going to tell you what it is, see if anybody knows. What did the European colonists bring to America that the Indians did not have until the colonists came? Because there was something that did not exist in the Americas before the colonists came, and it's not guns. No, they have disease. Of course they had disease. They've got this idea that the Indians had no disease or sickness. No, they had syphilis. Nope. Horses. The Indians had no horses. There were no horses in the Americas until the Europeans brought them here. No horses. Isn't that crazy? You know? So the Indians, they had no horses. So they had no, they had no wheels. They had no vehicles, right? They didn't have any mode of transportation except their feet. So, you know, this idea that the Indians were some advanced society is just total BS. They were living like prehistoric cavemen in the Americas. They had no civilization. They're nomadic. No horses. They didn't have the wheel. They had fire. So, you know, there you go, caveman. You know. They had nothing. You know, I mean, they were, so, it is so bizarre when I hear people talk about the Indians like they had cities and all this. They didn't even have the wheel. Fire was the most advanced thing that the Indians had. They were it's like cavemen. Yeah. And there's another big fallacy with all this liberal hate towards America, right? They keep telling us, these lunatic liberals, that the United States has a debt to the Indians. We're on stolen Indian land. Do you ever hear them say that about Canada or Mexico or Central or South America? Why is it only the United States on stolen Indian land and not Mexico, not Canada, Guatemala, Brazil? Why, all these countries, Chile, Argentina, why is it only the United States on stolen Indian land and not Canada, Mexico, or all of Latin America? It's because we've got the money. They had no society. The Indians had no society. They were a nomadic, uncivilized people that had not invented the wheel. They had no horses. How'd they get around? How could they be an advanced society if they had not even invented the wheel? And they had no horses. They didn't have the wheel until we brought it here. They had nothing. They were getting around with, spears and stuff. It's like they were about, the Indians they were prehistoric. They were like 5,000 years behind the first Europeans, technologically. That's right, about 5,000 years behind. It's true, at least, maybe 10. Exactly. So if you come to a place that's being run by prehistoric cavemen that are like 3 years after the invention of fire, they have not invented the wheel, they have no technology, they have no horses, they have no mode of transportation except feet on foot. They're using spears and crap like that. They have no cities. They're like cavemen. That's right. Yeah, maybe 350,000. Yeah, I'm being kind. I don't know. But they're living like prehistoric cavemen. What we're supposed to say? Oh, these cavemen are in America. Okay, let's leave. Give me a break. But but the rest of America, North and South America, get a free pass. They're not on stolen Indian land, just the United States. Give me a break. There's been this romanticism about the Indians that they had all. I got nothing against Indians. But their status in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans is overblown. You know what? It's like those tribes in those Pacific Islands. That's basically what they were like. Maybe even worse. Yeah. But the Indians are responsible for so much death around the world even still today. And in fact, the Indians are responsible for more death than the colonists. What do you think? What did the Indians do that's still killing people worldwide today? There was one thing the Indians had that the rest of the world did not. And the Native American Indians gave it to the world, and people still die from it today. Do you know what it is? What do you guys think? What did the Indians have that they gave to the Europeans that is still killing people every day? Syphilis, alcohol, tobacco. Sean's got it right. Tobacco, correct. Tobacco. The Indians gave us tobacco. And how many of you know someone or have a family member who died too young because of smoking? I do. That's right. I lost a grandmother from tobacco. My stepfather passed away from smoking related. So, people die. Even during this live stream, people have probably died somewhere in the world due to a tobacco related smoking condition. That's because of the Indians. So, so who's killed more? right? Who's killed more? Yeah. That is true. Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, it's just a fact. I mean, I'm not, I'm not trying to one up them on Holocaust here, but they did give us corn, and I do like corn. They called it maize. Now, I'm not a smoker, but smoking kills. Yep. And think about all the health conditions people have that are smoking related. That's the Indians. Tobacco. Yep. They introduced tobacco to the world. Think about that. I've never been a smoker. I don't know. There aren't as many smokers as there used to be. But, yeah. But they have this romanticized image of the Native American Indians as if they had cities and advanced technology and all this BS. The African tribes were more advanced than the Native American Indians. It's true. And that's not saying a lot because they were pretty primitive too. But no, they had nothing over here. I mean, how could you have a society, think about it, how could you have a society and cities and all these things that they imagine? Nothing exists anymore. And they had not even invented the wheel. Right? They were cavemen. Mm-hmm. It's true. Very true. People spend too much time on these liberal lies of history, because liberals have crafted a completely false historical narrative of pretty much everything involving the United States. I mean, look at what the left want you to do, right? Think about this. The left, there's two countries the left want you to hate more than anything, right? The left want you to hate the United States, and what other country do the liberals want you to hate? The United States and, what's the other one? Do you guys know? And it'll really tell you where they're at. The left want you to hate America, and what other country? Do you know what it is? They talk about it all the time. Russia. The left want you to hate the United States and Russia. And Israel too, but the two main ones are Russia and the United States. This is Israel's just a thing right now. That their anti-Semitism is a new fad. No, the United States and Russia. And like they want us to go to war with Russia. Europe wants us to hate Russia. The United States and Russia defeated Hitler, not the Europeans. The Russians lost like 10 million people in World War II. We were on the Western Front, the Russians were on the Eastern Front, and the United States and Russia defeated the fascists in the Second World War, not Europe. Russia's not our enemy. The Russians lost 26 million. I can believe it. I can believe it. The United States and Russia won World War II, not the Europeans. That's why we should, Russia's our friend. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not in favor of the war with Ukraine, but the Ukraine-Russia war is a civil war. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. It's a civil war. It's not our business. Russia doesn't attack us. Iran, on the other hand, does. Iran's been attacking us for 50 years. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the United States and Russia, Europe would have fallen to the Nazis. That's it. The Europeans lost. I mean, you know, yeah, all their countries fell. England was on the verge of collapse. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you'd say that, Chris. That's your brilliant intellectual response. Typical liberal. Typical liberal. Subscribe if you're new to my channel, guys. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, all right, guys? And please like the video. Oh, yes. But it was a great 4th of July. It really was. Yes, liberals are pathetic, X-Puzzles. I agree. Liberals are pathetic. No question about it. Mm-hmm. I love that Kamala Harris is joining up with Mamdani with the Democrat Socialist Commies of America. A loser. They're bringing in a loser to help their organization. How's that going to go? Really tells you how stupid they are. You know, when you're putting together a political organization, you don't bring in a loser like Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. J.D. Vance looked great yesterday, didn't he? In New York. He's going to be a great second MAGA president, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for J.D. J.D. is going to be a great president. Yeah, Willie Brown's girlfriend, that's right. Mm-hmm. I don't even think she passed the California bar exam. I think Willie Brown fixed it so she didn't have to take the bar exam. You know? Yes or no, do you think Kamala Harris actually passed the California State Bar exam, or did Willie Brown fix it for her so she didn't have to take it? I don't think she took it. No way. No way. Nope. I got a lot of coffee left, so I got to drink this up. They've already done it. Scooter for you. Yep, they've already done it. New York is falling right now. But Mamdani's doing a lot of stupid things. I got to tell you, this Taylor Swift wedding, does anyone really care about that? Even her own fan base? You know, in the past, it's been a long time since there's been a big celebrity wedding. But what celebrities used to do is pretend, you know, Taylor Swift, hey, how can I argue with a billionairess, right? Mediocre talent, unattractive, and she's a billionaire, so she knows some stuff, but she screwed up the wedding. You know, you really don't have celebrities anymore like you used to, right? We used to have celebrities, movie stars and stuff, music stars. And when there have been past celebrity weddings, they would pretend that they didn't want people to get pictures of the wedding. But they would do things to make sure that the paparazzi got it. You know, remember Elizabeth Taylor got married under a tent outside, so the paparazzi flew over it. Michael Jackson, when he married Lisa Marie Presley, did a similar thing. They pretend that they don't want any pictures or videos of their weddings, but they have them outside. Taylor Swift does it inside Madison Square Gardens and tries to monetize it. She probably was filming a documentary for Netflix or something in there, or pay-per-view, but she dropped the ball on the fake publicity. mean, who really cares about Taylor Swift's wedding, right? Mm. Pathetic. I mean, who cares about celebrities anymore? Is there any celebrity that you would care to meet? The only celebrity, I've met most of the celebrities that I've wanted to meet in my life, but the only celebrity I would like to meet would be maybe Tom Cruise. But other than Tom Cruise, and you know, be cool. But I can't think of there really aren't celebrities anymore. I met Mel Gibson. Yeah. Penn and Teller aren't celebrities. I mean like real celebrities, like stars. I met Mel Gibson, and I got to tell you, Mel Gibson is super cool and super normal and like a regular guy. I was like really amazed when I got to meet him. Yeah. Not only did I get to meet him, I spent like 2.5 hours as close to him as I am to this camera. Keanu Reeves, yeah, I'd like to meet Keanu Reeves. Yeah, Keanu Reeves would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise. I really don't even think Taylor Swift's fans care about it. See, what I was talking about, I mentioned this on the stream yesterday morning. What Taylor Swift did with this wedding, the reason she got married is, you know, you see these things happen, you know, and it's not happening with her. Her fan base are not little girls anymore. They're grown women that are getting married and having families. So if she doesn't, Taylor Swift got married to try to grow with her fans. It's all fake. She needs to get married and have a kid and be a wife and a mother to grow with her fan base. And she and her team have determined that her fan base no longer relate to her. So she's got to grow up with her fan base. You know what I mean? That's the whole reason she got married. It's so ridiculous. I think she's gross. I think she's gross. But that's the whole reason. Like, who's that British singer that just got married? What's her name? Dua Lipa. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about? She's a big star, right? She's a big star. And she didn't make a big deal about her wedding. She just went and got married, right, to an actor. That's like a real wedding. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. Oh, okay, there's one celebrity I have not met that I'd like to meet, and that Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, I'd like to meet Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's a big star, and she just went and got married. She didn't have this narcissistic crap. All right? No. It's a 100% fake wedding. 100%. They probably have the divorce already planned out. They got the whole marriage planned out. They get married, they're going to buy a house, then she'll be pregnant, then they'll have a baby. You know, she's got this whole plot so that she can grow with her fans that are getting older. It's so fake. You know? No, Rosie O'Donnell, no interest in meeting Rosie. No, no interest. It's the fakest wedding I've ever seen, the Taylor Swift wedding. It's so obvious. I think everybody, come on. And these celebrities that are going, that went to it, they just want to be a part of the wedding of the century. Clint Eastwood, yeah, Clint Eastwood would be a good one to meet. But what does that tell you? There's all the stars we want to meet are old. There are no stars today. I was watching yesterday morning on YouTube. You know those vertical, I don't know if they're movies, but vertical TV shows that they make out of China, right? They're really bad. They're all over TikTok. You'll see some on YouTube. They have really bad actors in these vertical TV shows. You know, you're familiar with what I'm talking about? And I saw this Chinese filmmaker yesterday. He does the verticals, and all the actors are now AI. And he was talking about how they don't even need actors anymore. You know, that AI is replacing actors. Can you imagine? I'm already seeing AI TV commercials. There's a TV commercial running for something to do with seniors, and it's all AI. They're like in grocery stores and things, getting interviewed and everything. It's all AI. You can tell it's good AI, but it's, you know, it's still AI. AI slop, yeah. But the technology's advanced so fast. So actors are becoming irrelevant. So once they perfect AI a little bit more, all these movie stars like Clint Eastwood and Stallone and Mel Gibson, they'll be making new movies with them as young people. That's it. Man, it is foggy out. A lot of fog. Well, yeah, the AI music has taken over. I mean, there was a hit country song not long ago that was 100% AI with an AI band. You know, AI, you know, technology is technology, but it's just changing. You know, when new technology, you know, one thing you've got to do is when new technology comes in, you got to adapt to it, right? Any of you see Muriel's wedding? Her, in Muriel's wedding, Muriel's dad was a politician, and he had a campaign slogan. Remember his campaign slogan? Muriel's dad and Muriel's wedding. Anyone remember her dad's campaign slogan? And it applies to AI, what's going on. It was, you can't stop progress, right? You can't stop progress. So when there's a new technology, you just got to learn to adapt it into what you are doing. You can't stop it, it's out there. Once the technology is there, you can't uninvent it, right? Fishback is a joke. Byron Donalds is so far ahead in the polls in the Florida governor's race. And he's outraised the money-wise by a lot. What was 78? Was that the Saturday Night Fever album? Oh, I don't think America's been ruined as much as the left would like to ruin it, but no. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Oh boy, I tell you. We had a great 4th of July. I hope you guys did as well. No, I'll come up with the slogans. Thank you. Actually, the Where MAGA Comes to Talk, that was my daughter came up with that. That's right. Where MAGA Comes to Talk. Oh, we're doing well in the Senate. CNN's polls, 60% chance that we hold on to the Senate. We're pretty good. A lot of traffic out this early on Sunday morning. A lot. Yep, that's right. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right, guys? Yes, please. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take off